Speedruns are so fucking cool. Seeing how human ingenuity turns one of your favorite 30-hour games into a 5-minute one is just remarkable. While there are a slew of comments calling these talented players cheaters for taking advantage of some weird physics or coding bugs, I notice even more confusion over the tag T.A.S. Every video, there's always that one guy that asks what it means. The community is always happy to answer it every single time, but there's still just a general confusion on this stuff. People think that some kind of video game bot is playing instead of the person. Sometimes they think the game is being glitched because it's a TAS. At worst, they have the nerve to call it lazy when they cannot fathom the time it takes to craft something that precise. So rather than simply explaining it, I'm just going to go through the process and hopefully shed some light on it with one of my favorite games ever. YF0GX? Well, this is a game I have a good degree of mastery over. I've sunk a lot of hours and I have some basic knowledge of the game and how it can be broken. Like most speedrunners who use tools, this isn't something you do to prove how awesome you are, but rather just to see how fast the game could be completed. It's a way to view what would happen if some perfect video game Adonis played this game frame perfect, not making a single wrong move. So how does one go about this? Well, for starters, get an emulator. These runs are usually performed on emulators with built-in toolkits. For Dolphin and other common things, there's a frame advance tool, a save state tool, and a virtual control input. Since I'm not a big fan of the control input tool, even though it's probably way better for more accurate runs, I'm gonna be sticking to a normal controller. Now let's say I just want to see how fast this extremely difficult challenge can be completed. I have to collect a metric fuck ton of capsules in a minute, and they're placed in such a way where it's gonna take me 3 laps to grab them all, no matter what I do. To see the difficulty of this challenge, here's what a raw attempt looks like. As you can see, this is not for the faint of heart. I've completed this a total of 2 times in my F-Zero Prime, but now let's say I just want to see what this looks like if I could perform this run like a perfect human being. If my control and reaction time were on par with some Korean MLG player. That's where these tools come in. First thing I'm gonna do is simply enable Dolphin to record all the inputs I make in game. From this point on, everything I do will be recorded in a special file that Dolphin reads. When I play this back within the Dolphin, when I choose to make the Dolphin emulator play back the inputs, it's going to replicate exactly what I did. The easiest way to think about this now is a Smash 4 replay. Smash Bros. 4 just saves your inputs and runs them in game to duplicate your saved matches. It's not like Brawl where a video file is produced. This saves a ton of space, but it also means that anytime the game undergoes an update, subtly changing the physics, that the same inputs don't result in the same match. So you're old. All I am trying to iterate is that your old replays become unviewable. So with this tool, you can essentially just record your inputs, play the game like normal, then watch exactly what happened. Not useful on its own, unless you're trying to save space on your computer when creating some really long playthrough. So the next thing that you gotta do is implement the frame advancing tool. This will stop the game and allow me to advance a single frame at a time with the keystroke of my choice. Now, suddenly things that I only had a fraction of a second to react to become really trivial. The panic factor is entirely removed, and I can calmly assess what the next best move should be given my current state. I can just hold down the inputs I need to at the perfect moment in time, then advance the game frame by frame, switching my inputs on the optimal frame to do so. Now this is meaningless if I originally played the game like an asshole to begin with, since this does nothing but allow me to make the best calls given my skill set. I still have to know how to drift appropriately, how this car handles, how to make sharper turns, and how the physics in general work. Otherwise, I'm just going to be playing this game like an asshole, 1 frame at a time. Anything insane you see in a TAS run was within the player's ability. Mario jumping around like a maniac and performing all this insane stunts, that was still done by a very talented player. Now, I'm just an ordinary guy, so chances are that even one frame at a time, I'm still gonna make suboptimal moves since getting a feeling for how something plays at this speed can take time. That's where save states come in, and these are the things most people that use emulators should be somewhat familiar with. Basically, I can take a look at a situation, say yeah, that's pretty much gonna fuck me up the ass, and then save that moment in time in case I actually get fucked up the ass. If I do, I just reload that moment and try again until I get it right. Now Dolphin is kind enough to essentially remove all the fuck-ups from the back play. The word I am trying to say is playback. In this Red Canyon run here, I made about 3 save states and had to reload about 5 times from trying to like drift on and off this edge. Cause it's like really hard for me to do. But the playback just makes it look like I got it in one time, so go nuts. Try something flashy as many times as you want, cause in the end it's gonna be looking pretty slick. Oh yeah, look at that, son! Eat my shit, you What? What? Yeah, sometimes the emulator just likes to take your inputs and desync them in an infuriating turn of events. But from there, the gameplay footage is recorded as normal and the runs are shared with the community, who attempt to build and improve upon the uploaded times to make an even more incredible viewing experience. I'm just hoping that the community knows that while a lot of people do consider T.A.S. runs cheating or dishonorable somehow for some stupid bullshit reason, that a lot of us do know the talent that goes into them. These guys raise cancer awareness. How the fuck can you hate on that? But anyway, I'm hoping this sheds a little light on the T.A.S. process. Maybe motivate some of you to utilize these tools and do something awesome for yourselves. No matter how perfect a run seems, there's always a little room for some improvement.